So D ain't gonna be on tonight?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Is anybody texting him or should I?
Can you text him?
Yes, sir, right now.
Thank you. Maybe we could start without him, but
All looks pretty straightforward.
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
Uh,
We got to know Jerry tonight. Okay.
Need 2 more seconds.
Let me know when you're ready. We'll go ahead and start.
Yeah, we're good.
oh,
Okay. Well, I guess we could just start and then hopefully Dee will join us, before we get done with financials, so. Okay, welcome, welcome to the Fraser Park Public Utility District Regular State Planning and Project Meeting, Thursday, May 22nd, at 4 o'clock. We are starting the meeting at 4:02. That's called to order. Please, stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call of directors, Director Schoenberg,
here.
Director, Garcia is absent, Director Gibson,
I'm here.
Director Kelling,
Here.
and Director Nyman is here. So we do have a quorum. Two, adjust agenda if necessary. I'm not aware of anything that we need to adjust on the agenda.
We may need to, table, but I guess we can just do that when we get there. If we don't get the,
Yeah. So,
table the,
okay.
closed session.
So we'll move on to number 3, public comments. Are there any public comments at this time?
There was somebody that was supposed to be here, but you may have to go back to that.
Okay. Not hearing any. 4, managers report.
Yeah, everything's going good. We're doing finishing up the weed clearing for the year. Around Pine One, there's a bunch of trees that have been too close to the tank, so we're cutting that all back. Next week I'll have to go down and rent a tree chipper to chip up all the branches and stuff. But other than that, everything's going good.
Right.
Johnny, thank you and the boys for doing outside the water company fence.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah. I figured it'll keep the snakes from being able to hide.
Yes.
And Johnny, did we actually hire somebody already?
To do what? Oh yeah. They're supposed to start on I think it's Monday the 2nd or 3rd.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, his name is Jeff. He's a boat captain that wants to work close to home. So we'll see how it works out.
Okay.
No. New employee.
No, we're hiring another employee for the field. Okay, then, let's move on to the administrator's assistance report. Do you have anything, Tiffany?
No, not really. We still need to do our training,
Okay, whoever hasn't done their training,
but
please.
all 700s are in at least.
Me.
Yeah, okay.
Too sick.
I know you've been sick, so
Not
we'll give you a pass at this point,
We can't give her a pass, but
but.
I want that pass.
You can sleep to it.
Yeah.
You just put it on and go to sleep and
You just let it play.
Oh,
yeah, it's okay. You can take a 2-hour nap.
And then at the end, you just take the test, which is pretty easy, pretty basic stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't go through like it did before, where you answer questions as you go?
Well,
No.
I think one of them does, but I don't know which one.
It's easy.
One of them does and the other one doesn't.
One's real dry.
Yes, anyhow,
Yeah, like I
okay.
said, it's good to have stuff.
Not, okay, 5, standing committee reports, accounts payable committee.
We met, we went through invoices, we asked Deborah to, cut the checks and, I think
Yeah.
we'll discuss it financial.
Yeah, there wasn't anything out of the ordinary.
Mhm.
Okay, state update committee, we met, I think, well, that'll be under all the other items, so there's no sense in spending time on that. We'll move on to 6, ad hoc, reports, planning project committee.
Yeah, we met and, we, had a meeting with Lake of the Woods. There were some concerns in regard to the annexation. We talked about those concerns for, a couple hours. And, then, we agreed to come back to it, but then we got a email, from Joan, just, as far as one of the concerns that had been, you know, having to do with, water levels or, you know, having enough water. And, that concern was, in, as far as Joan was concerned, and I take it the board was concerned. No, hasn't gone to the board yet. So Joan,
Is
was
recommending.
comfortable, is recommending we go forward with the annexation. And the board, yet Lake of the Woods hasn't met yet, and they will meet and let us know.
Right, because they have the other concerns, so I can't speak for them.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Let's see where we at, meter well project committee.
There's nobody there.
Was that enough, Joan, you think?
Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah, I don't think we met, did we?
The meter well can be dissolved, I believe.
Well, yeah, we can do that at the end.
Well, we do
Okay.
have yeah, I mean, I doubt it's gonna need the committee, but it's still ongoing. And when we get to the meter, line item, I'll update on our tour with Ruben.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, easements and deeds committee, they
We
have not met. Standby fee committee,
We have,
you have not met. Rate study committee has not met. Okay, T-Mobile lease committee,
hopefully we're gonna talk about that, on number 8.
okay, we'll talk about that then. Okay, we'll go on to financial business. Huh?
On the standby fee, did the ballots go out?
The second ballot?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, look, yes, but.
But that
was
was
on
later?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
7, discussion, vote on accounts payable and financial information. That's you, Deborah.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hi, Deborah.
Hi. Okay, so we, out of the meter well account, we issued one disbursement payable to D Jaspar for $7,812.40. And I believe,
That wasn't out of the well, right?
but
The last.
it was for claims 37 and 38. And then out of revenue operating, we prepared 15 checks for a total of $20,143.15. And the only extraordinary disbursement was to Ferguson in the amount of $11,800, which was actually a meter well disbursement for claim 38. And we did that out of revenue operating because we no longer have checks in the meter for the meter well account.
Okay?
And that's all I have.
All right, thank you,
Thanks,
Deborah.
Deborah.
So if there's no questions, I would entertain a motion that we pay our bills.
I make a motion that we pay our bills.
I'll second it.
Okay, the motion has been made by Director Schoenberg and seconded by Director Gibson. Roll call of directors, Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Garcia is absent, Director Gibson,
Hi.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
and Director Nyman is an aye. That's 4-0-1 absent. Motion carries. Yes.
Terry, other than the automatic transfers, you didn't do any transfers, right? Thanks.
Okay, moving on
No,
to,
but we will, just in regard to that, we will need to transfer.
It's been transferred. The 11,000 has been transferred from meter well to operating.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
on to number 8, discussion vote on T-Mobile lease 6th amendment. Director Kelly?
As I stated 2 weeks ago, the last thing, we got from T-Mobile is that they want us to adhere to the Sixth Amendment, sign it, or do a 30-year lease. Nobody wants to do a 30-year lease. So we need to either sign this or where we can increase our income, or we can just let them
So
continue
we'll
paying what
be
they're
at-
paying.
Well, there's starting us at the $2,311.15, and then
They're gonna
every
make it-
year they'll give us a 3%
Right,
raise,
Right.
correct?
Until they
Correct.
take it back at some point. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Right, Yeah.
yes,
and so this
and
agreement,
they will make up for the lost, the revenue
Right.
since they,
and this agreement is, good for how long?
another
9 years, 9 more years.
9 years.
9 years, okay. All right, at this point, I think we should go ahead and do it. That would be my recommendation. So if there isn't any further discussion, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the T-Mobile, Sixth Amendment.
I'll second it.
Okay, the motion has been made by Director Kelly and seconded by Director Gibson. Roll call of directors, Director Schoenberg,
I'm going to abstain only
okay,
because I'm not
okay.
happy with it.
Director Garcia is absent, Director Gibson,
Hi.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
and Director Nyman's an aye. It's 3-3, 1 abstention and 1 absent. Motion carried. Okay,
Now Tiffany, do you know who has to sign
okay,
this?
Dee,
Or-
do we need to go into, we're gonna go into
Should I
a
ask the,
closed session for a minute?
Yeah, I think
Lawyer.
it'd be a good idea to do that. Yes.
They didn't indicate.
Okay,
I know.
okay.
Am
so
I
we're
done?
gonna- Oral announcement prior to closed session, government, huh? Oh, Deborah,
done?
thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah,
Have a
thank
good evening.
Have a good evening.
Have a good
Who
weekend.
signed the last amendment? Who signed the very last one?
I don't know. We'd have to look it
I'm
up.
gonna wait outside the
Or-
door
or-
when you guys are ready.
Oral announcement prior to closed session, government code 549577, parentheses A, a representative of the legislative body to orally announce the items to be discussed in closed session prior to any closed session meeting. 9, closed session pursuant to government code 54957, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, government code 54956.9, parentheses D, parentheses 1, Fraser Park Public Utility Districts versus CNC Elite Properties LLC et al. Kern County Superior Court case number VCV 24-100199, and 10, closed session pursuant to government code 54957, conference with real property negotiators, government code 54956.8, property 256-070-54, 256-070-55, and 256-52013. Agency negotiators Lisa Schoenberg, Brahma Nyman, and D. Jasper. Negotiating parties Jeff French and Emily Wainwright under negotiation price and terms. So we are going into closed session at 4:15, and we shall be back out shortly. And you want to put Johnny into the closed session too?
you looked over these? Are they right now?
The what?
The purchase and sales agreements? She went to go get her.
Calling her, telling her, but. Okay, oral announcement following closed session, government code 54957.1. Parentheses A, the legislative body of any local agent shall publicly report any action taken in closed session and the vote or abstention on the action of every member present thereon. There was no action taken in closed session. We are back in open session at 4:33. Moving on to number 11, discussion vote update on Fraser Park Lake of the Woods Consolidation Planning Project. A, discussion vote review of the project timeline and budget.
On that, nothing has changed, timeline or the budget. They are the same.
Yeah, the only comment I'll make is that it has it's gone through, and we should be probably getting the amendments, probably within a month or two. It's gone, from his people for more signatures, and so we're just waiting on that to get a funding agreement. Okay, B, discussion vote acquisition development of well 8. Nothing new on that. We're basically on hold until October. We have a date in October 9th.
But, well, there is something somewhat new in that we definitely are no longer, it's no longer being separated out, and it needs to go in, kind of what Ruben had talked about. You should probably.
What do you mean separated out?
The well won't be separated out from the project anymore?
Right now, it's not, they were talking about folding it back into the project. We said we didn't think that was a good idea because it would take too long. And so, but we have to go back through a whole, whatever procedure.
Oh,
There
okay,
is no-
so basically just a quick update. In the update meeting, they all of a sudden were talking like the well 8 was just in the Lake of the Woods project. Which at that time we pushed back because we wouldn't be getting into construction until like 27 or 28. And so we said to him, well, we cannot wait that long because of the well 5, the possibility of well 5 failing. So that we needed to have funding. And then he said, well, which one did you want first, pipeline or well 8? Because he's in charge of those both projects. And we told him
He can't make them equal. One has to have priority over. the
one
other.
has to have priority over the other. And I said, well 8 needs to have priority.
Yeah.
We said, well 8 needs to have priority over the pipeline.
Yeah.
And so he is going to push forward. And I'm not sure, as far as I know, they've gotten all the application information.
Well, we need to do.
But D may need to do some updates or some changes, depending upon what Ruben.
They actually asked Dee for, everything of the plans for the well. Because, in our favor, Jesse Dollywall was strongly pushing that we move forward on that one way or another. He was very much, letting Ruben know that how critical it is. And I think that was very
And
helpful.
so Dee needs to resend the well 8 plans to Jesse Dollywall so he can review them and approve them, even though.
Yeah, he
already-
saw them, but he wanted to know if anything has changed. And he wants it to be, he wants to take a look at it again, and then he's just also putting some pressure and recommending that it,
Be a
find a
priority.
way for it to go forward as a priority. Because it's not in the running for any grant at this point, it's just.
Right, it wasn't in for
Out.
any round or anything, so. So we'll be waiting for more information. Okay, C, discussion vote on acquisition development of well number 9 additional booster and Hague site property
Well,
certificate.
do we also wanna just say on 11B, just for the public that, it's now October before we have a court,
I already
proceeding?
said
Oh, you
that.
said that. I
Yeah.
missed it, sorry.
So we have a court date, which hopefully at that time will determine the price, which we already have possession of the property.
Yeah,
So,
my fault, I didn't, I missed that.
okay, certificate of compliance, lot line adjustment, and purchase and sales agreement. Okay, so we have two, purchase agreements here. One is for Bear Court, in the amount of, $98,010. And that's for APN number, 256-520-13. Which is an exhibit A that has been added. Also, there's a purchase agreement for, well 9, which is for $36,100. And that's, APN number 256-070-54. I would,
They need to be filled out by our
so our
attorney.
attorney is reviewing it at this time. And, I would entertain a motion that we approve these purchase
That-
agreements
no, that-
contingent upon our attorney, making any changes or approving them as is, so that we can set a date and go into, sign the agreements.
Right, but I think the vote needs to allow the project, the Lake of the Woods Project Committee or whatever it's called now, the annex, I don't know what it's called anymore. Anyway, that ad hoc, to, go into the negotiation with the property owners where we can sign that as part of the ad hoc. So we just need approval. As
To
long
sign.
as everything's filled out correctly and the attorney is good with everything, that we be able to sign that in a session with the owners. So it'd be Director Nyman and myself and Dee, and I
So,
guess maybe our attorney, president, and them.
Okay,
I would entertain a motion,
So I wouldn't say to approve this, I would say to approve that happening in that committee as long as everything's okay and as long as nothing's changed.
so you wanna make the motion?
I don't think I should.
Okay.
I'm just saying rather than
Yeah.
just approve it.
I think you should.
No, I understand why
But
because
she's
she's
on
part
the
of,
committee.
she's on that ad hoc, so that's why she's, so I.
It seems like
I
you
got
got it in your
Brain, but yeah, I
Yes.
don't think I
it. But, okay,
don't think I can repeat it again.
I think I got it. I'll move that we, give our, planning, our ad hoc planning project committee the approval to sign the purchase and sales agreements if our attorney finds nothing wrong with them for the, $36,100.
And they're completed.
Or-
These are.
And they're, well, yeah, and they're completed with date and time and names and, because there's a lot of things that need to be filled out. So, once they're completed, to give the planning project committee the okay to sign and purchase the properties, for well 9 at $36,100. And that's for APN number 256-070-54, 0.70 acres, and for the Bear Court property in the price of $98,010. And the APN number for that is 256-520-13, and the amount of 0.75 acres.
Okay, do I have a second?
I was gonna do.
Okay, Director Kelling has, made a motion and Director Gibson has seconded. Now, is there any other discussion at this point? I did have one question, Dee. So we're purchasing well 9 for 36,100. What are we going to have to do for the easements?
Yeah.
For the easements going up the road for the other properties?
We'll have to negotiate with the owners and come to an agreement as to, you know, how much they're very, you know, the appraisals are very, very low, $100 or something like that for each property. And so we will contact each owner and we'll tell them about the project. And we'll tell them that we need an easement down the road and that,
And when do we plan on doing that?
we can do it
Because I think
anytime
that's
folks
something-
want where, you know, we don't have the design there yet. I'd prefer to have the pipeline design and the layout so I can show them just exactly what we're doing before we approach them. That way it's not, you know, up in the air. We're gonna put a pipeline down the road. Well, this is the size of the pipe, this is where it's gonna go. And, you know, these are the details. So,
Okay,
I'd like to.
Okay,
get that part first.
all right, if there isn't any further discussion, I'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Director Schoenberg,
Okay, normally I would abstain, but I can't because we don't have enough directors, so I'll vote aye.
okay, Director Garcia is absent, Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
and Director Nyman is an aye. So that's 4-0, 1 absent, motion carried. Okay, moving on to D, discussion vote on LAFCO work resolution FP 2025-0522-01 and LAFCO resolution of application and additional LAFCO document. Okay, so first of all, where do we stand, D? I know that Lake of the Woods has sent you some corrections and stuff. With that, are you making those corrections or?
Yeah, I'm working through those. I communicated to Bud Rice at LAFCO and I told him I'm going to issue an addendum. We have some numbers in there that are not correct. And then I'm going through Joan's comments and working on each one of those. And where we need to make a change or add some more, you know, descriptions to the application, I'll do that. And that'll be part of the errata that I will issue for that application.
Okay, so do we feel that we can go ahead and approve this resolution at this time, or are we?
Not with number 1, it needs to either be reworded. I mean, there needs to be some rewording for us to do the resolution tonight. Because 1 still says set forth above are true and correct. We don't have any of that, of the changes. And I cannot vote that it's true and correct
Okay,
without seeing that.
so at this point, we will,
Do you have those?
Can I make a suggestion? If Dee can review the changes and if you can designate an ad hoc committee permission to review those changes, and therefore you would approve your resolution tonight pending Dee's corrections and the ad hoc committee's reviewing of those. That way you can keep it moving forward. It's a suggestion.
Up to really you two.
No, I think we'll just wait.
you wanna wait? Okay, so then we'll, I'll entertain a motion that we table this until the
Next meeting.
next regular meeting, June, what is it, June
12th, I think.
June 12th.
Because the understanding from D was that it is in the hands of LAFCO already, that it's not necessarily going to be held up, correct, D, by us not doing this resolution tonight, that it is moving forward, that we need to incorporate whatever changes, Lake of the Woods has given us, and take a look at those as part of the ad hoc and part of the board, and then we can do this.
Correct, yeah, they're in the review process right now. I don't know exactly where they are. I have a communication to Bud, and I'll find that out probably in the next day or two, but they're moving ahead, and you know, they've got a lot of information, they've got all our reports, and so
Okay.
they're working through it.
So I'll entertain a motion that we table this until the next regular meeting.
Before we table it, can I just bring up one more thing?
Sure.
Because once it's tabled, we can't discuss it. Dee, are you going to look into the, questions we had in regard to the, not so much the application, because that's what the resolution is about, but in terms of the MSR, what LAFCO is and isn't able to do? Will you, find out, a little further on that, and so that we have that information?
I will, and I know,
Joan was talking about, you know, the according to the, Knox, whatever it is, that, my brain's not working, that LAFCO has the possibility of
That they're gonna be-
amending the MSR themselves, you know, looking into the MSR themselves and amending things. We just want to know if they would actually be doing that, or if we would need to make any amendments on that.
I will, I'll have that conversation with Bud, Lisa, and you know,
Right.
where we're going with that.
Thank you. So with that, I'll make a motion to table this until our next regular meeting.
On
I'll
June
second it.
12th, yeah, okay. Director Schoenberg has made a motion. Director Gibson has seconded it. Roll call of directors, Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
and Director Nyman's an aye. So it's 4-0-1, motion carried. Okay, moving on to number E, memorandum of understanding that's tabled. We'll go on to F, discussion vote on Lake of the Woods project and consolidation. That's you, Joan.
Oops.
Can I actually say something before we move on?
Sure.
I would like to pull E off the table, not to vote on it yet, but I would like to be able to bring up some of the considerations that Joan, and Lake of the Woods, that Joan brought to us via her board. Just a couple of the considerations so that we could start talking about them, which I think one of the main things was, you know, what could be included in an MOU as far as payment or not, you know, as far as keeping the two districts, even though we would be put together through the annexation, being able to separate some costs so that Fraser Park wouldn't be bearing direct costs that, you know, that are only Lake of the Woods, and Lake of the Woods wouldn't be bearing direct costs that should only be Fraser Park. I do believe there is a way to do that, and I'd like to just start being able to discuss some of that before we ever get to actually penning the whole thing.
Yeah, just some preliminary wrapping up.
Right,
discussion.
so would we be willing to remove that, bring it back onto the table so that we can discuss a few things? For next time, next meeting, next regular meeting.
I don't have a problem with
Do you
it.
want to discuss it in a meeting or with your ad hoc?
I mean, we can discuss it with the ad hoc first, but I think we would want to bring it up, anything that went on with the ad hoc in the meeting, so I think it should.
Oh,
come off.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think it should
Well,
come off.
You guys go to the state meeting and then you guys all sit here and you all know what you talked about, but we don't.
I try to
I
make sure
know,
we
but
bring
you
it all
know,
up.
and that's the same thing. You guys all met and you all know what you're talking about. Do you know what they're talking about?
No.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
We sit here dumbfounded, like, oh, we should know something, but we don't. So you guys have to
Are we
bring
not-
the whole conversations, the whole thing to us, not.
Which is
itsy
pretty
bitsy
hard to
things.
do, because like this last meeting was a 2-hour at least meeting. I don't know how we'd bring everything,
2.5
2.5 hours. You know, the synopsis was that, you know, that they agreed to keep moving forward, and, you know, but there were a bunch of questions. So one of the questions, one of the really, relevant things has to do with the MOU and kind of who is responsible for what and you know, that there's some
That's fine, because I
financial
don't even
stuff.
understand what what an MOU does anyway, so. fine
I
with me,
speak for a
I'm sure.
second.
Sure.
All of that stuff, all of that stuff, I would imagine we need to talk with our attorney and our engineer to find out even what is discussable or the MSR and not, or the MOU rather. And, like Lisa said, we cannot repeat what a 2-hour meeting was. We're just the pertinent parts were dispersed, and then as more things are talked about, we'll bring it up on an agenda item.
I do have a question though, are the state update meetings are recorded, correct?
State updates are
They should
audio,
be.
audio only recorded. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you,
Not on YouTube, not online, because it's just a local recording.
okay, is that accessible to the board members? Because I think it should be, because I think it's very,
I mean, we read the minutes, and that's why she kind of found out this October date, you know, 'cause-
right.
but
But I think maybe the minutes aren't always, you can't include, I mean, the minutes are really action.
right.
Our board members that want to hear what we said can always reach out to Pam, and she can share that with them.
Well, no, we're talking about our board members too.
Yeah, Pam recorded that meeting.
Oh, that was that meeting, but that was an ad hoc, so that's completely different. That's not normally recorded, but I'm talking about the actual state update meeting.
Yeah. they're
Because there's
recorded.
always a lot going on in the state update meeting that, and we try to have everything in the minutes, but the minutes again are really actions. They're not all the discussion.
Right.
And there's a good amount of discussion that happens in an hour to 2 hours. So, you know, that would be, I think, something that's important to have available in some way.
And like, I know it would be hard to take notes, but it might be helpful if you guys brought some notes instead of just hitting the high points. I mean, maybe you guys are missing a few things. Maybe if you just jotted down a couple words, you know. might
I
be
do
helpful.
take notes usually on the, although I gotta say this last couple times it wasn't doing real well. Actually, I wasn't even at the one that you went to.
I would like to go back to financial business. So yes, I have no problem with us, for the next meeting, untabling it, so can.
I make a motion to bring E back off the table. And have it in our,
You'll second it?
I'll second that.
Okay, Director Schoenberg has made a motion, Director Kelly has seconded it, roll call of directors, Director Schoenberg is an aye, Director Garcia is absent, Director Gibson, Director Kelly.
Aye.
Okay, Director Emmons and I, 4-0-1 absent, motion carried. Okay, I would like to go back to financial businesses
I'll make a motion that we, go back to financial, which is item, number 7.
Okay, and do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Director Schoenberg, has made a motion, Director Kelly has seconded it. Roll call of directors, Director Schoenberg is an aye, Director Garcia is absent, Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director, Kelly
Aye.
and Director Nyman's an aye, 4-0-1, absent, motion carried, we're back in financials for a minute. One thing I wanted to bring up that we forgot to bring up and we probably need to have it on the, regular meeting as an agenda item. We had discussions with, Joan, and everyone about the, bond, the bond money. And, one of the things we wanted to bring to the board is to satisfy, in order to satisfy, Lake of the Woods and also satisfy our, agreement that we move because we probably have about $600,000 that needs to move
Between
from
6
the,
and 7.
between 6 and 7, that needs to be moved from the CIP, the long-term CIP account, and move it into the replacement account, and that'll bring it up to date. And then at that point, we'll continue to put in to the replacement account as the bond book has stated, and then we
And
can.
the monies we've been putting into
So that extra
replace,
$2,500 that
will
we
go
have been
into the-
putting in, we can discuss, maybe we can bump it up to $5,000. We'll see what we can talk about and start putting more money into the other
the
CIP.
unrestricted. So I think we should talk about it in terms of the restricted CIP, which is part of the
Right,
bond agreement. It's actually the replacement money, and the unrestricted CIP, which is the CIP that came out of our Prop 218 that happened years ago, not even this last time, but the time before that. So, in order to just, and I was bringing this up, and I'd like to make the motion if you, agree. In order to stop any discussion about whether we need to go to the USDA, whether something's short or not, because we already had that we had a discussion with the USDA in which they told us to, they didn't, I don't know, I can't reiterate exactly what they said, but they weren't really even interested in us talking to them. And they agreed that there had been a mistake that had to do with some other stuff too, a mistake in the way they did their calculations on one of the years. But, anyway, what I'd like to do is we had discussion of this in the past, that we wanted to keep the money in an unrestricted account so that we could use
so
it
I
for.
think,
Can
I
I just
just wanted
quickly
to bring,
reiterate though?
okay,
So we had discussion about keeping the money in an unrestricted account. I think that just causes all kinds of problems. We'd be better off just having exactly the amount that's supposed to be in the account, in the replacement, and not having to worry about that. Of course, we have the designations of what needs to go in the future, and then, just move it from the unrestricted account back to the USDA restricted account, so that we wouldn't be able to use it for everything. We'd still be able to use it with the USDA's permission on anything that had to do with the USDA grants. But we wouldn't be able to use it, say, on a piece of pipeline that didn't have to do with that. But we also have short-term funding. We have other funding that we could use, and none of it's enough to do a well or a tank or anything. So whatever account it's in, it's just not enough money. It will never be enough money to cover that, probably.
so I don't think we can make a motion at this because it's not on the agenda, but I think that we should put it on the agenda for the regular meeting, and then that way we can approve it with a vote next time.
Since that's nothing but just moving money from one account to the other, does it have to have an official vote?
I think we can do it I think we can do it under financials,
Okay,
because we're just.
That's what I
it's a
think too.
transfer.
okay,
Yeah.
well, do you have any thoughts, or do you need any clarification?
No.
Okay.
The reason I think it's a good idea is it just takes that off the table. We don't have to deal with that at all. It's exactly
And
what
then
it
that
should
account is
be.
up, that account is up
And
to date.
any additional monies that we're moving right now.
Can you
start
actually go back the 20 years or 10 years?
We're gonna have to. It's not so easy, but yes.
And figure out to the penny what we're supposed to have in there?
Yes, I just need to do that chart that I have backwards instead of forwards. I did
Wow.
it back to 2019. I need to go do it back all the way till the bond was
Well,
initiated.
until you get that exact amount.
Because
I don't feel comfortable transferring and then transferring.
No, we wouldn't be transferring it tomorrow. We would just agree to transfer it. And then maybe you and I, as part of, I don't know what. I know I need to do, I don't know
So
what that falls
I'm
under.
in agreement. Maybe we need to make
We'll have
this
to
would
do it
be,
a different ad hoc.
well, that, we should make an ad hoc.
Yeah.
I guess.
And
Just to go back through that database, and we can also take it, I would suggest if we're gonna do all that work, that we take it forward to 2040 when it expires, and that way the thing is completely laid out and there's no question on any amount.
I know it may sound silly, but you would think that the USDA could just give us a printout of what is expected to be in there at this time.
No, they were wrong. Please, no, Johnny. They couldn't even, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say anything. That's not nice. We
You
had
would
to
think,
tell them
you
where
would
they
think
made a
that, Johnny,
mistake.
but, it was not easy dealing with
I
them at
think it's
all.
better that we go through because we have determined how it's supposed to be done and we know how it's supposed to be done.
And they acknowledged, when we went back and forth with them a bunch of times, when we finally got them to meet with us and go over everything, they acknowledged that our calculations were correct. So I just think that we are better off just doing it exactly the way that they acknowledged and just taking it backwards to whatever year it is. I don't remember. It has to go back some years. I think to 2011, no, 2011 is the 9,000, so
2004.
2004. And then, well, we didn't get the money in 2000. Yeah, I guess we,
2004.
2004, and then
Yeah, you're
forwards
talking
to,
20 to 20
yeah,
years.
forwards to 2040, which I think.
See, that's
I
one
look forward to.
of my concerns is the USDA tells you that you were right. I mean, it's so ambiguous that it seems like each time it's read, you can come up with something different. I mean, they looked at it and said we're
No,
good.
that's not true. That's not true. It's
No,
not that
I
ambiguous.
thought somebody just now told me when they checked with USDA, they said you were correct.
They
Well,
made a
Okay,
mistake.
there's two different distinctions, Johnny. There's a distinction on what, one of the issues was
They didn't
that
take
they
enough
weren't
money.
taking enough money, according to our principal and our interest payments. So they were miscalculating that.
We brought it to them. We
And
told them that they did not take enough money out. We shouldn't have still had money left in the USDA account that they automatically removed money from. And why did we still have money in there? They told us we were wrong. We went back and forth a ton of times. That's how we came up with that database, because we were getting very frustrated. And when we finally had a meeting with them with the database where we could lay everything out, they agreed that our calculations were correct, but they still did not take the extra money out.
I'm
Okay.
just glad my mortgage is better than this. Regular bank
You're
knows
absolutely
exactly
right,
what you owe.
Because this doesn't really matter to them a whole lot. It's just that they want us to retain some money in case we need to replace something. We still wouldn't have enough money to replace a well or a tank or whatever, but they just want, this has nothing to do with paying the bond. This has to do with our own internal CIP that we have, so that we're not caught unawares if it's a smaller item that we'd be able to pay for, and then we just get permission from them to pay for it. They paid for the SCADA that way.
Right. So, and that's the other thing, that when you do that, you're gonna have to take that into account of what we.
Yeah, I need the amounts that we're taking out
We'll
for
have to get
things.
with Deborah, you'll have to get with Deborah and get the amounts that we paid that we took, the amounts that we've taken from the replacement. all
Cause it's
the-
more than one. so it
Right,
got
and
taken.
so we've done that for SCADA and maybe one or two other items, so we need to get that information, because you need to add that back in, but you take it out for what we should have in there to figure out.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
still
I
think
don't
it's,
know if you can actually do it.
it's
I'll
not,
give you kudos if you can.
I don't think it's that complicated, because the formula for figuring out the amounts is already there, and it can just,
Can I
Yeah.
make a suggestion? And I know it sounds scary, but welcome to 2025. You can put it into AI and AI will give you the answer in an instant for as long as you want. Yeah, it's scary, but AI is better than.
That's a
anything
great
online.
idea.
It will take 5 minutes instead of
Try that.
a month. Believe that. AI will know how to do it.
we still
And you
need
can
to check
always,
it.
like, I was gonna say, you can always do a couple of years to see if your stuff matches, but it would save you so much time and money.
Don't look at me about AI. I'm
Okay.
scared of AI.
Yeah, it's new,
It's like,
but
it's like, nope, nope,
So,
nope.
so when we can move on, we can go back, well, we can do an ad hoc for that, and then when we got the information, we'll.
So we have the ability in a later,
Yeah, so at the
To
end of
form
the,
the
at the
ad
end
hoc,
of
so we'll
the,
just do
There's
that.
four of you.
yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, but there's only 4 of us, so that's gonna be hard to do.
yep,
well,
it will be.
but,
Not gonna happen.
It
oh,
won't happen. Not till we got 5. Yep, I know. Okay,
maybe never mind. Okay,
let's go back to 11. F.
okay, so we're at F, Lake of the Woods, sorry, Joan. I didn't mean to sidetrack us, but I realized we had forgotten something and I wanted to discuss that,
Okay,
and we'll get it accomplished.
no problem. For Rebecca and Terry, because you weren't involved in the meeting, if I can give you guys a quick recap so that you feel like you kind of know what's going on. Lake of the Woods felt that with the annexation, and annexation involves 4 factors. You gotta have the quantity of water. If you don't have any water, you're kind of in a pickle. Quality of water, you may have quantity and then you can treat it to get your quality, but quality, financial stability, and management responsibility. At the initial meeting, Lake of the Woods had asked me to express their concern on that Lake of the Woods felt that they were in a position that they could provide enough quantity to support themselves for the long term. And therefore, other factors about the annexation made them be uncomfortable. In that meeting, Dee brought up some points that I later looked into and did an analysis of. And in my opinion, I can't confidently say that Lake of the Woods could sustain itself if another long drought were to hit. So Pam and I need to go to our board at our next meeting and let them know what we've learned, so that as a board, they can make a decision. Water quality, we are also going to be encouraging our board, and in the acceptance and agreement with the recommendation of Pam and I, that we would also like to be more proactive in the state meetings of letting the state know how important we also feel it is to prioritize well 8 over the entire annexation project. If you have to pick one or the other, do well 8. That's critical. That doesn't mean stop everything else, but get well 8 under the way. Financial responsibility, they just touched on some of the concerns that they had, being that it's a contractual agreement with USDA that you're going to accomplish and do certain steps. And one of those steps was to put a certain amount into the replacement account, and that contract is not being followed. That made the Lake of the Woods board very uncomfortable. But as you've seen, they are looking into addressing that now, and they'll bring you the information on it. And with those topics of discussion, as the meeting went on, the 4th topic of management is your management acting responsibly. Based on how that conversation went, Pam and I feel that there was no need to bring up that topic in the conversation. And other annexations and things that might be an issue that they have, but we didn't feel at this time that was something that needed to be brought up. Under the financial also was the concern that Lake of the Woods had as far as the long-term planning by Fraser Park on setting aside money into a CIP. Pam and I are recommending that you guys are going to be doing a rate study. Let's wait and see what comes out of your rate study, what the recommendations by the professionals are, and then see if you guys want to take the recommendations or what actions that you want to do to provide for the long-term future of your company. So that's a bit of a background. Did that help explain kind of anything?
Your point of view, right?
Yeah, and I would make one comment though. in all the discussions too, that, Lake of the Woods, one of the things is that the state has been very amenable to Lake of the Woods to make them, to get the things that we had concerns with. They gave you guys several grants, which you've done an incredible job on getting, like the meters and the pipeline replacement and those type of things, to bring your system up to date. But for, long term, with the way both systems will have a problem with long-term, to have enough money for everything when you're looking at replacing, tanks. Tank replacements are, upwards to $500 to $1 million. So, the same with here. So we're all still dependent somewhat on grants, and we will have to have some help, because there's no way that even with you sharing that you guys are putting away $12,000 a month, that you would be able, if you had a tank fail, you wouldn't have the funds to take care of that tank. And so I mean, I think that's for every community, we have that issue. And so we continue to work towards making sure that we put money into CIP, and I agree with you, when we do the 2AT, we want to look at seeing what we can put into a CIP every month, whether it's 20 grand a month or something like that, like we've done before, so that we can continue to have money away for projects. And so that's my only comment. So, okay,
Okay, so I wanted to give you guys some background on it because, again, you weren't at that meeting, and to give you a quickie overall. Ford Lake of the Woods, the next project that we have coming up, which is the line replacement and the generator. Nothing new information. For the sorry, that was the last project. There's no news on the last one. On the one that's coming up, there's also no news on that. That is the line replacement, self-tank replacement, SCADA. There's nothing new happening on that. On our well results.
Joan,
Yeah.
you did say that the tanks, can you just let them know, since that was talked about at that meeting too, that you discovered that your tanks are not nearly as problematic as you thought when you dove them?
Yeah, perhaps back at the time when the annexation was first discussed.
Even though they're old.
It was of how old is that tank? Oh golly, that's really old. That's gonna need to be replaced. But we have divers that come in and, check the condition of the tanks. And, we've also had preventative, measures done on our tanks by the special fine coating so that they didn't rust and doing all of that. So the last reports from the divers on our self tank is that actually in really good shape. You've got where condensation is at the top, where the bolts are, some rust there. But as far as the seams or the bottom or anything like that, they weren't seeing anything. Not that we're just gonna say, okay, great, then let's just ignore it. We recognize that it's still an old tank and money still has to be set aside. The same kind of thing happened with our 2 north tanks. When the divers did the report on those, there was minimal amount of evidence of problems, but we also recognize that we're gonna have to. So on our CIP, it's set up different in that we took everything that we have in our system. This tank, how many valves do we have? How many well pumps do we have? What did each of those things cost now? When did it get installed? Well, it got installed 5 years ago. Well, how long do they normally last? 10 years. So we need to plan that in 5 more years, we're gonna have to replace it. What does it cost now? And what do we think it's gonna cost in 5 more years? And are we setting aside enough money? So we've done that with every single item. The only part that's gonna really backfire on us is, one, if we have an earthquake and everything breaks all at once, we don't have the money for it. Nobody does. And I checked, you can't get earthquake insurance for a water company. A second problem that could occur, something could wear out sooner than what we thought. But this is why we, on our CIP. And as we all know, we try to anticipate what is the cost of living? If it costs $1 this year, is it gonna cost $1.03 next year? But prices are all over the place. Johnny has even said that a tank a couple of years ago that was gonna cost 250,000, and just a couple of years is now at $1 million. So we are, each year that we do our budget, we review our CIP, we recheck what is the current price and are we planning correctly? And do we need to make an adjustment for that? So that's what we do.
Okay.
All right. Well, number 4, the results are from 5/8. The iron has gone back down under 100 UGs a liter, and it's still under the maximum of 300 UGs, so that's okay. Manganese is under 20 UGs a liter, which is still below the 50 UGs a liter.
Yes.
April was the only month that went up. It went up and then it's already dropping back down again. That's everything that Pam gave me. Pam wasn't able to make it today.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
And there is some water in the pond. You see it coming around.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of water
There's
in there.
quite a bit of water in the pond over there. So it's, it's not like pond again, but there's water there, so it's
The frogs are
flowing.
loving it.
So if we if we have a few more years of good water, who knows what might happen? So just a side note. Okay, moving on to G, discussion vote
That's the
on
people in the middle of the night who come in when
Yeah.
pour a little bit of.
claim number 54, other claims and payouts. That's you, Carlos.
I don't know that they put a cost from the library.
Carlos?
Yeah,
Muted.
is it time for the claim?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
Okay, so for board of directors fees, hang on a second,
Spider-Man.
How did we get
I have to
450?
check real quick because I don't remember if I adjusted the board of directors fees with what Tiffany had gave me, but I have 450. So if that's wrong, Tiffany, you can correct me so I can fix it. Staff recovery cost at $61.16. We had hold on. I think I opened up the wrong claim. Wait, hang on, let
No,
me.
that's correct.
Those are correct?
Yes. Claim 54, right?
Yeah, claim
Yes.
54. Okay, that's the right one. Okay, and then we have an invoice from D Jasper and Associates for consolidation engineering admin work. And that was invoice 25-00418R. And that invoice totaled $3,686.44. Then we had 2 invoices from Young and Woolridge, invoice 122633 and invoice 122664. Both of those invoices together came out to $252.50. We had another invoice from D Jasper and Associates, and that was for engineering design work for drafting. And that was invoice 2500417. And I'm sure there's a dash after the 25. I just probably forgot to put it on there. And that invoice totaled $4,014. So the total of claim 54 came out to $8,464.10.
I have a
Director
quick
Schoenberg.
question on 4/17/2025. I had mentioned this in the other meeting. Did we fix, because Director Gibson was there rather than myself, and we have me down for $33.33, but it's actually Rebecca?
Yeah, I resent it to Carlos.
Okay, so you have that change, correct, Carlos?
I don't know if I had put it yet, but I am gonna fix it if it's wrong. That's why I said if
Yeah,
Tiffany
it's
can correct me if
just
it
on the
doesn't equal
monthly
the
report
450.
for the. Right, monthly report for the board of directors. The 450, I mean, it's just the 120, it's, I don't know why you have $25 there, so I'm a little confused because it really should have been 33.33 and 33.33.
No, they didn't go until hour. It's what
Oh.
they put on the.
Oh, it was 25. Okay, so yeah, so it's for that one $25 charge. It's actually Director Gibson and not me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll look at it again, and if it's wrong, I'll fix it. But
Okay,
yeah, because Tiffany did send me the paperwork, but I don't remember if I changed it or not. I have to look at it.
yeah, just because it doesn't match the signature sheet and I don't want anything to hold it up.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion, to approve claim 54.
Move that, we, approve claim 54 in the amount of $8,464.10.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Director Kelly has made a motion. And Director Gibson has seconded it. Is there any discussion? Okay, not hearing any discussion. I just make one comment. Once again, we are approving these claims in advance. We are still waiting for the funding, and the funding agreement to be approved. So we need to be careful. He needs to be careful on how much work he does because there's a big liability until we actually have money. So just wanted to make that comment. So if there's no further discussion, I will roll call the directors. Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is absent. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
And Director Nyman's an aye. So it's, claim 54 is approved, 4-0-1 absent. Okay.
No, I think he gets out with it, so.
I'm so confused.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, and I
moving on
just
to-
looked at the message that Tiffany sent me, and the board of directors fees does equal 450. So if the initial report was wrong, then I'll replace it with this new one that she sent me. But
No, it's correct. That was my mistake. It's just the only thing that's incorrect is Gibson needs to be replaced. I mean, Schoenberg needs to be replaced with Gibson.
Yeah,
Okay.
because she was at the ad hoc committee, the state.
okay, so then
update meeting.
I will need to replace the report then because the one that I included probably has Schoenberg in there.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
that's why,
I'll just
she was
switch it out.
bringing that up.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, number 12, discussion vote update on FPPU meter replacement project, emergency well supply project. A, discussion vote on claim 39 and other claims and payouts.
And Johnny was saying that he has something he needs to bring up.
Right.
Yeah, when,
So,
I'm sorry.
go ahead, Johnny.
When Ruben was here, he brought up the fact that he thought that we should have gotten meters for the 3 wells as part of the project. So he's going to talk to his bosses and find out. He said he'd get back to me on Tuesday, find out if they would reimburse us for those 3 meters. And then we could order them and they would reimburse us for them in the project before the project's fully closed out.
Okay, so I guess, Oscar,
Yeah,
we're doing claim 39. I think that was originally gonna be the last claim.
we'll have a claim
Or-
40.
We're gonna have claim 40, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So at this time, you can go ahead and go over claim 39 if you'd like.
yeah, okay. I just to add on to what Johnny said, Ruben just needs to make sure that, FPPUD can go ahead and order those, well meters. But they would have to install them themselves, so he needs to figure out if that's okay with their senior leadership.
Johnny? Your senior
Yeah,
leadership.
Yeah, that's fine for us to be able to install them. I mean, if they say it's okay, we've been installing them all these years on our own, so it's not a big deal. And I know they're a bunch of thousands of dollars for these meters, so it would really save us a lot in the long run if they pay for them.
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
so for claim 39, we have two invoices. One for the well replacement project, and it's from D. Jasper and Associates, and it's for the notice of completion filing. That's invoice 25-00420, and that's in the amount of $27.30. And then we have another invoice from D, and that is also for the notice of completion filing for the meter replacement project, and that's invoice 25-00421, and that's also in the amount of $27.30. So it brings the ground total for claim 39 to $54.60.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion that we approve, claim 39.
I will make a motion that we approve claim 39.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Director Gibson has made the motion and Director Kelly has seconded it. Any discussion? Okay, roll call of directors. Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Garcia is absent, Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
and Director Nyman's an aye, 4-0-1 absent, motion carried. Okay, and as far as other, do we know where we stand on, some of the other claims? Where are we at on, as far as reimbursement? We've got reimbursement through 38?
No, 38 has not been reimbursed.
Okay, and 38 is like those major project progress payments, correct?
No, 38 is the invoice for Ferguson for the subscription for the radio read meters. Those big invoices that you guys drew a bridge loan request, that was 36, and that has already been reimbursed to you guys by DFA, and I believe you guys have already mailed the check for that bridge loan request as well.
Okay, I just wanted to, because I'm not sure where we stand, I just want to make sure we're on top of it. Okay, so then we can go on to the discussion vote update on bridge loan. What is do we know what our current bridge loan, what do we have outstanding on our bridge loan?
You just have one
Just
drop
the-
request, I believe, for the Ferguson subscription, which was about 11,000 and some change.
11,800.
Plus you
Correct.
included the two D Jasper invoices, so it's like around 13,000.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's right. The whole claim.
Okay.
38 was about 13,000 and something. So that's the only outstanding bridge loan. I assume
Okay,
that if
perfect.
Ruben approves the purchasing of the well meters, then you guys may do another bridge loan request. But I guess we'll find that out next week when he follows up with Johnny.
Okay, sounds good.
When does the bridge loan end?
We have 6 months.
Was it 6 months?
Yeah, because we just did the amendment.
Yeah, I know we did, but I didn't think it was 6 months.
Yeah, it's a 6-month loan. So, okay, we can move on to 13, discussion vote update pipeline replacement project. A, discussion vote on engineering and design. Where are we at on that, D?
No changes. We're just where we were a week ago or so. All the,
So
Jesse still has it once again, right?
yep.
Okay,
So we're waiting for the final comments on it,
Yeah.
correct? Because they gave some comments, they went back to you, and Curtis, you changed things, and then it went back to them, and it's sitting with them again.
Yep.
Correct?
Yes. Yes.
okay. Okay, B, discussion vote on project application.
But good evening, everybody.
Yeah,
Good night,
good
Oscar,
night,
thank you.
Oscar. So it's in, but again, as we talked about in the state update meeting, we had to tell Ruben what our priorities were, so it is somewhat deprioritized under well 8 now. I mean, it's less than,
Well,
less, but
it
it
is
is
under
their priority.
review with
Actually,
him and.
Lisa, in
Yes,
in the walkthrough we had with Ruben, Ruben let us know that he's gonna try to get the pipeline replacement project application transferred to one of his colleagues, so therefore we can get both of them reviewed at the same time. So,
on equal footing, that's
that
awesome.
hopefully
That's
that
what I was
happens, and
asking.
that's gonna be great news if that does happen.
Okay,
Okay,
sounds good. Okay, 14, discussion vote on standby fee assessment.
we're waiting on the ballots, right?
No, it's what Joan was asking. So
They got
the
it.
new ballots were mailed out on, I believe, the May 15th, and they were mailed out in blue. We've already gotten a bunch of them back, at least
The blue
50
ones?
back. Mm-hmm. So.
Are they going in the
everything's
same
moving
box that the original ones were going in?
Yeah, because they made them a different color, so now they can tell if it's been voted on twice by the same address.
Oh, I'm keeping the ballots separate just for them for ease, I guess. No big deal,
But we have
yeah,
to,
their computer will tell them.
so are we assuming that the blue ones take priority over?
No.
No,
There is no,
so
What
what,
if you have two different
okay,
votes?
so what happens if
I-
somebody changed their mind?
guess the blue,
Yeah,
Because
It would
it's
be
the
the
latest
latest.
one, because
Right.
it's the latest one.
yeah,
So if you have two of the same, from the same APN,
and have a
Then-
different answer.
and a different answer, then the blue one counts, because it only counts once.
That makes sense.
Okay. All right, anything else?
and
Any other
that
questions?
meeting is the 28th. The public
June
hearing.
28th at 12, yes.
Yes,
And I got the county to transfer our building usage permit to the new date, so.
okay.
That's June 28th at what time?
12 o'clock,
Okay.
it's a Saturday. And that's gonna be in the community building, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, moving on to 15, discussion vote on rate study. Where do we stand on that, Carlos? I know that he's started working on something, but we have not met yet.
Yeah, he says we'll be meeting sometime in, well, he gave me the worst case scenario. We have to meet by, well, we have to get started enrolling by September at the latest. So we'll be doing something before that.
I hope so. I think, because if there's questions and stuff, I want us to be able to get things hammered out. So,
Yeah, and the good thing is that he already has he's on his like fourth rate study in the last 6-7 months, so he's got some good practice by the time he gets to you guys.
Hey, yes,
Just to let the board know, FYI, doesn't apply to you, but just keeping you loopies. Lebec is going through a rate study. They were actually going to be having their meeting vote thing. And, the day before, they discovered that there was a error on how they had done their stuff, so They're having to start from scratch again.
Oh, fun.
So if you saw what they come up with, throw it out for having to do it all over.
Okay.
Don't know anything about it.
Okay, I think that's it for D, and that's it for Carlos, if you guys wanna take a vacation. Or you can stay with us. It's all
Alrighty,
good.
you guys have a good one.
All right, have a
Thanks.
good night. Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you.
I think I'll go to
Thank you,
dinner.
Dee.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, enjoy your dinner, Dee.
Thank you.
Okay, 16, discussion vote on district's record retention policy and digital files only. Yes.
I saw
Director.
there was one missing yes on the new one that you did.
What page?
Good question. Page 10 of 18, emergency preparedness. Second one down,
One little box, wow.
yeah.
Oh, my God, Tiffany.
I know.
And did you guys discuss the digital, the thing that you would talk
They
about
didn't
with me?
do,
Okay,
discuss any of it.
okay.
Okay. We waited, and I guess we should wait till Jerry's here.
What's
I
that?
think we can. It was just the discussion on what to do with the completely digital records. So Tiffany had brought up to me, what if the record's never been on paper and it's always been digital? Do we need to put it to paper, retain it on, that whole thing? And I felt no, I felt that it's always been digital and you're backing up the digital. Why would you want to do all that extra
We'd
work?
be going backwards in time.
Yeah, I don't think we need it, but we need to vote on that, but
I think we can vote without him.
I think we should wait. I don't think it matters. I mean,
Okay,
it's not that big of a deal right now.
So we'll
we're
just
backing
go
it
ahead and
up,
carry
so-
this over till the next,
The whole policy, I mean, the record retention policy. is-
but we can vote on the
The digital
record,
part.
the digital, we can do the district records retention policy because he already.
Yeah, we already.
So I'll
I mean, I didn't double check every single thing, but I'm assuming you did, so it
Yeah.
was just that one.
I
missing.
entertain a motion that we approve the district's record retention policy.
I will make a motion that we approve the district's records management, disclosure, and retention policy.
Okay.
Can we on that motion, just if we catch any other typo, that we can fix the typo?
If there's any other.
If it doesn't match, I didn't see
And
anything
do I
else.
hear a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Director Gibson has made a motion, Director Kelly has seconded it. Is there any other discussion? Okay, not hearing any, directors, roll call of directors, Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Garcia is absent, Director Nyman's an aye. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Okay, 4-0-1 absent. Motion carries. Okay,
I have a question before you move on.
yes,
So since I can't wait to start getting rid of paper, when I fill out those destruction forms and they go through the process, you wanted a board signature on the destruction form. Do you want to do that in a board meeting as an agenda item, or how will that part work? The board.
I think we should do it as
So almost like a standing.
a standing item that you can
Item.
just do, yeah.
Yeah,
That way it's easy.
that's fine.
Okay.
So are
Okay.
you guys okay with that?
So, yeah, and so we just ask that you carry over the digital only files onto the next regular board meeting in June. Okay, moving, do we want to take a brief recess? No?
No,
Okay, 17, discussion vote on janitorial services.
Yeah, we got two quotes, janitorial supply and then, I forget the name of the other one, but janitorial is cheaper. I think it's on my desk right there. You guys can look at them. The two quotes are on my desk. And I'm recommending janitorial. I really don't care which one does it. And so we'll go with the cheapest.
Is janitorial services down in Bakersfield?
No.
No, they're,
That's Emmanuel, he's up here.
Yeah, and
He's
they've
a
already,
local guy.
they're the ones that cleaned it twice for that 1 month and did such a great job.
But they're gonna clean everything, right?
Yeah.
That's what the quote's for.
Not
Yeah,
just the
I mean,
bathroom.
they're not gonna be, they're doing windowsills, bathrooms, and the kitchen. They're not gonna be doing like carpet cleaning and all that kind of stuff.
They will do they will vacuum and wipe down the tables.
You're gonna have to look at the quotes. I don't think I asked them to do the vacuuming because we do that all the time during the week.
They're right here. Janitorial service twice a month, bathrooms, dusting, wipe down desks, vacuum, floors, windowsills for
There you go.
$340.
Perfect.
$340 a month.
340.
$340 a month for the twice a month cleaning.
And what's the other one?
375.
$375 for twice a month. They put bathroom, dusting, counter, vacuuming, floor, basically same thing. And it's
How many
For
times
Tazo
a month
Corporation.
for the janitorial, is it janitorial USA?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
janitorial.
Would they make two?
2 cleanings a month.
Okay.
So I'll entertain a motion.
Kind of expensive.
So it's 170 each time they come in.
$170 a month?
Is that right?
Well,
Yeah,
170
340
Per
a
cleaning,
month.
if you divide it.
Yeah. $340 a month, right?
Yeah.
$340 a month.
I will make a motion that we
Go with
give Johnny permission to take on janitorial USA
in the amount of 340 a month.
in the amount of $340 a month
Do I hear a
for 2
second?
cleanings.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Director Gibson has made a motion and Director Kelly has seconded it. Any other discussion? Roll call of directors. Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Garcia is absent. Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
and Director Nyman's an aye. 401 absent, motion carried. All right, moving on to discussion vote on Microsoft 365. Okay, that's you, Tiffany.
Okay, so we got our .gov domain active and running.
Oh,
So
yeah.
now, what's that?
We do? Do I have to change looking at my email somewhere?
No, not the email, the .gov domain, our website
Oh, okay.
is FrazierParkPUDCA.gov.
And if you write in the wrong thing, it will redirect.
If you go to FrazierParkWater.com, it'll redirect you. We're about to hit our renewal on that, so we're gonna keep renewing that domain name. Fun fact, there's actual legislation right now that's going through the process to require government agencies to move to a .gov and .gov email. So we're ahead of the game if that legislation passes. But fun fact. So
That's the whole federal government, or, I mean, that's the whole, all government, or that's just California?
no, that's Good
Federal or
question.
state?
I don't know. I think it might be federal because they want all. What they want to do is have people feel comfortable going to government websites. So they want to put .gov so they can be easily recognized. Here's another plug for AI. I asked our computer tech support and I asked Microsoft themselves, and nobody could tell me what licenses we needed to get our email running. The only one who gave me a very, very clear understanding and overview was AI. They taught me how to do it. So telling you, don't It's scary, but don't look down on AI. So what we're looking at, I gave you the pricing for government. It's called Microsoft 365 for government. And then there's Microsoft 365 for business. The only difference is there's way more cost to the government because there's a lot more security. So they give you just really, really in-depth security. But it's for emails and I don't know that
What is for email?
All this.
this is,
Cost.
yes. This cost is essentially for email, although it comes with all their apps. But that's the second point. One is, so there's standard and their basic licenses. The standard licenses come with desktop versions of, Office 365 and all their other apps that they have. We don't need to pay the extra for every single person. I would suggest front desk, Johnny, Deborah, my office, and the laptop have business standard
Which is.
licenses,
Which is $12.50 each.
which is $12.50 each per month, paid annually. And then the board could carry the basic for half the price. And that would allow you to have your .gov emails.
And
So you
that-
have to have a license to have a .gov email.
Right, so then that's $30 a month for just the board, which ends up being $360 a year for us to have our emails.
For the emails, and then of course the standard would give everybody else emails. For the laptop, we want Office on the laptop, so it would come with an email so we could have
Right, so that would be.
somebody else.
So
whoever
that, but
we
that
assign
would
it
be a
to.
six, that would be a $6.
No, that would be a $12.50 because we want
Oh.
Office.
So you're talking about both laptops,
Just that one. We only need one with Office.
not yours?
No, because I could always do Office on that. And I do Office on my computer. I would rarely use
Right.
a laptop unless I travel.
Really, this
And then I could just
laptop's
take that.
only pretty much for the meetings and
Right,
stuff.
right.
Yeah.
And this one we use, so we want to have the business on there.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I
we're
mean-
not locked in. We can change memberships.
Right.
Or upgrade anytime we
So
find
you're
that we need
talking
it.
5. 5 of those and then
So
just one of the basic?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so basically 5 basics and 5 standards unless we find a reason to do another one. And
Oh, 5 basics and 5 standards?
5 basics and 5 standard licenses. The government is upwards to like $43 per user per month. They don't quote you. You have to dig to find out what they're gonna charge you. So it's really, really expensive for that added.
So it's gonna cost us, for the office, $1,110 a year.
And then would we be going to Teams? Cause this includes Teams or it doesn't include
So
Teams?
what's interesting is right now we
I
pay
can't
what,
stand Teams, but-
$65 a month for Zoom. So if we get this Office, it does come with Teams included. So we could drop Zoom because, I mean, if you really like it, we can keep Zoom, no big deal, but it would offset the cost of these Microsoft licenses if you use the Teams that comes with it.
I don't care. I mean, I just don't like it personally myself.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to learn about it.
Would you still be able to do all of the streaming and stuff from?
So I did ask, you can stream on Teams and you do have breakout rooms in Teams. So it probably does the same thing. I've never hosted a Teams, so I've never tried to use their platform.
And you can use the video, it's just most people don't, but you are able to do it just like Zoom. You're able
I
to see.
think so. The only thing is, equipment is not typically compatible with both Teams and Zoom. Right now, our equipment is compatible with Zoom. If we did change over to Teams, it could be that we have to change equipment.
What do you mean by, you're talking about the camera?
Yeah, the camera. We'd have to get one that works with Teams and this one works with Zoom. They do it on purpose.
And how expensive was that?
Wasn't cheap.
Wasn't cheap. I would upgrade it to what's called a Meeting Owl. And it might be like $1,500 maybe. But that could be for another time. I mean, once we get everything.
But aren't we also offsetting some costs because of some of the other stuff it comes with? Like, aren't we also paying extra are we paying extra for Word or?
Yeah, we buy that now. Whatever membership that is, so. Yeah,
Cause it's
a
like
few
it
of our
comes with
computers
what,
have
10
Office.
apps? What are the 10 apps? It doesn't say.
It cut off on the bottom because they printed it from their website, but basically everything except Copilot. So we'd get Outlook, we'd probably have to use Outlook for email if I was to guess. But I don't know that yet. Yeah, it'll be interesting because Microsoft is not helpful in doing this stuff, like to actually talk to a person. No. They put you on some chat thing I didn't know. a word.
I'm a little concerned with our previous stuff since we have so much stuff in Gmail.
I mean, our Gmails are free. We don't have to cancel them.
Right, we
We
could
can
hold
just-
on to it. We just wouldn't be using the emails so people could, hopefully it would be more difficult to send those spam weird.
Yeah, I have no idea how they work with these proprietary ones, but I doubt they could use our domain.
Yeah.
You're not gonna see it from r.gov, any spam emails. But you can leave a permanent message in your Gmail. My email address has changed. You can always go back into it to make sure you haven't gotten an important email from somebody.
So there's definitely a monthly offset of costs on the apps because this comes with some apps that we're paying for monthly right now.
Yeah, we're buying it right now, so it's just a license upgrade and more licenses. But it's the only way to really get, our domain as our email address. It
But
may
if
be
we don't
required
have
by
that
law
at
anyway.
home,
That's what I'm saying. It may be Outlook. I'm not sure though. I don't know the access point for the email. Whether you could, honestly, you probably log into Microsoft 365 to get your email.
Yeah, and if we do
and
use Outlook, if we do
if
lose
it's
out,
licensed-
use it. Sorry, go ahead, Lisa.
I was just gonna say, if it's licensed to each of us, we should be able to pull it up on our phones, right?
Right. I think they have their own, because I know they have Office only online. You actually have online only Office with your basic membership, believe it or not, just not desktop. So there's a way to get into it online, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Johnny,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, it's all right. I was just gonna add that if we end up using Outlook, you could have 10 emails if you want that will all be pulled into the Outlook. So in the sense of still having ready access to our Gmail, at least for a while, you could do that. It'll automatically pop up, but you can separate the new email from the Gmail just by a click of the button in Outlook.
And I don't suggest dropping Zoom immediately. Like, let's roll this out as we learn it and slowly and leave Zoom until we're gotten everything else set up and then we can worry about whether or not we drop that and take up Teams.
Don't we pay that annually?
Zoom is monthly.
Monthly. That's the one that's on your card.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we could pay for this on your card as well, so there's some separation of, or is
Yeah, I
it yearly?
think, unless we use what we already have, I think Johnny, the one he uses for his current subscription,
No,
we could upgrade and keep it all on that, I believe, unless for some reason they make us start over, but
okay.
it might end up being on however we pay for it now.
It says pay for the year.
Yeah, you do have to do it annually. So,
Well, just as long as I can get it on my phone, I don't care.
Yeah, I do almost everything on my phone now, so.
yeah, it will,
I didn't used to, but I'm beginning to
yeah, let me see.
as I learn.
Can
What?
I access, hold on,
You'll help us.
well, I'll learn and then help you. My Microsoft.
You know, you can just talk into it.
Email, I don't like that. I'm not a.
Well, that's
yeah.
AI, right? You use AI.
I haven't been, but I was doing art with AI, yeah.
I turn it all off.
I just got,
afraid of that
I got
damn
mad at it because they started
Okay.
purposefully making it not work well enough unless you bought like the.
See AI with all the answers. Yes, you can access your Microsoft email on your phone. You can do it through the Outlook mobile app. You can do it through your phone's built-in mail app. You can go directly through a web browser. So there's 3 different ways to access it.
Okay. Okay,
AI.
so, I'd entertain a motion.
So you don't want any of these government things, you just want the,
I mean, you guys are welcome to choose to do the government when I don't know that we need
I don't
all that.
But I don't think we-
insane-
I don't think we
need it.
I
And it's at a big cost.
And yes. So I think we should, my opinion, this is my opinion, I think I agree with Tiffany, we should do the 5 Microsoft 365 standard at $12.50 a month, and then 5 $6 basic.
And then should we decide that we need to bump up, we would be able to, and we could get rid of some things at that point, like Zoom or whatever, if everything's working well.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
we'll
we
have
could always-
Teams.
yeah,
They're gonna
we
give
could
it to
always-
us with it,
right.
so.
And it does come like on my Android, I already have Outlook on here and stuff, so I should just be able to theoretically.
And then we'd be mesh well with the state, like the state updates, they do it on Teams because
Yeah.
it's supposed to be more secure than Zoom.
oh, then Carlos and Oscar can show you and tell you how to do things.
And this is,
And,
they who host it, but maybe they could, if they
and
use.
Oh, I
theoretically, we
have
could
Outlook on
move
my phone.
some
See?
stuff. Because, yeah, and you also have OneDrive, which is the same as Drive and.
Well, use
I don't know how to use it in those things.
Well,
We'll
then
get
you
there.
only will have to learn that one and you won't have to go backwards and learn all the Gmail suite, which they now call Workspace.
Workspace,
I
that
don't know
was
how
the
to
only
do
other option to host the email, but I think we're trying to get away from that, and we already pay for Microsoft, so.
Yeah. I'm fine, I'm
I
not in
don't
love
understand
with
any of
it,
this.
but it's the
We're
same.
gonna learn together, cause I still have to.
They're very similar, and then if you've never used either one of them, you may as well just learn the one that we're using.
Okay,
We'll
I'll
get there.
entertain a motion.
Not overnight, but we'll get there.
I move that we, go ahead and take Tiffany's recommendation on, the business license standard for all needed in the office here. It was 6, right?
5 and
5,
5.
okay, and then the basic for the 5 directors, that we go with the business for now, and the Microsoft 365 package, for our emails and other, items we need it for, like Teams.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Director Schoenberg has, made a motion and Director Gibson has seconded it. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call of directors. Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is absent. Director Nyman is an aye. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Kelly.
I,
Okay, motion carried 4-0, absent. Okay, 19, review and approve meeting minutes for 5/15, 2025 state update meeting.
get my little cheat sheet. My cheat sheet. I move that we, approve the, state update standing committee, minutes for Thursday, May 15th with, any of the amendments that were sent to Tiffany previous to and after the meeting, as well as any additional amendments for typos or other errors that may not have been caught or that may need to be corrected.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Director Kelly has, made a motion. Director Gibson has seconded it. Roll call of directors. Director Schoenberg.
Aye.
Director Garcia is absent. Director Gibson.
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
and Director Diamond's and I, 401 absent, motion carried. Okay, 20, discussion vote forming or dissolving ad hoc committees. I would entertain a motion that we dissolve the, Meter Well Project Committee.
I think,
Johnny wanted that
Johnny
one.
wanted us to stay until we finish this whole.
Oh, okay,
idea.
okay, yeah, okay, so we'll just leave that alone until,
But I will move that we, dissolve the T-Mobile Lease Committee.
okay, do I hear a second?
I second it.
Okay, Director Kelling has made a motion, Director Gibson has seconded it. Any discussion? Okay, and hearing none, roll call of directors, Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director, Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Garcia is absent, and Director Nymus and I, 401 absent, motion carried. Okay, discussion vote on future agenda items.
Were you gonna forward form a committee for?
We don't have enough,
We don't have
we don't
enough.
have enough
We'll have
directors.
to, we're gonna have to wait till the next
Well,
meeting.
hopefully the next.
And hopefully Director Garcia will be here. I'm not sure.
Thank you.
So any other future items? I think
I think we've covered them all.
we've covered them all. Okay. So with that, we'll go on to, adjourning the meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay,
Second it.
okay, Director Kelly has made a motion, Director Gibson has seconded it. Roll call, any discussion? Oh, no, okay, roll call of directors, Director Schoenberg,
Aye.
Director Garcia is absent, Director Gibson,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
and Director Nyman's and I. This meeting is adjourned at 6:04 PM. Thank you, everybody, have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night, Johnny.
Thank you. You have a good weekend.
Hi, Johnny.
Good night,
Thank you.
Johnny.
Good night.
Night, Johnny.
He's gone.